The echo of absence. A karmic analysis of moon square Ketu in Synastry. The alignment of the moon square Ketu in Synastry introduces a subtle yet profound karmic challenge, one rooted not in explosive conflict like Pluto, or demanding structure like Saturn, but in emotional detachment and a sense of familiar absence. This relationship is deeply fated, signifying a bond carried forward from previous lives where emotional needs were somehow left unfulfilled, or where one party had already spiritually checked out of the connection. In this context, the moon represents the emotional body, subconscious habits, comfort, nurturing, and need for security, while Ketu, the south node of the moon in Vedic astrology, symbolizes past life mastery, completed karma, emotional baggage, and an innate, often unconscious desire for release or detachment from the material realm it touches. The dynamics of familiarity and frustration. The square aspect creates a jarring disharmony between the two energies, manifesting as an emotional disconnect that is difficult to pinpoint but impossible to ignore. The moon person's experience. The moon person is initially drawn to the Ketu individual with a strong sense of déjà vu, a feeling of having known them intimately before, often interpreting this familiarity as comfort and security. However, over time, the moon person begins to feel emotionally blocked or unappreciated. The Ketu individual, representing the past life's endpoint, may be unconsciously finished with the emotional narrative the moon is trying to start. The moon's attempts to nurture, connect, or achieve emotional security are often met with the Ketu person's unconscious emotional detachment, lack of engagement, or even outright aversion, leaving the moon person feeling unseen, anxious, and deeply frustrated in their core need for emotional response. The Ketu person's experience. For the Ketu person, the moon individual's emotionality can feel overwhelming, sticky, or entirely irrelevant. Ketu has a natural sense of mastery or completion in the area it touches, implying that the emotional work represented by the moon was already performed in a prior life. The Ketu person may struggle to understand why the moon person is so insistent on emotional connection or certain nurturing habits. They may instinctively pull away, creating distance, or simply be unable to provide the receptive, mirroring emotional response the moon requires. This is not intentional cruelty. It is an unconscious karmic release mechanism, where the soul is ready to detach from past life emotional patterns. The square ensures that the tension between the moon's need to nurture and feel and Ketu's urge to release and detach is a constant, unavoidable struggle. The karmic debt. Release and autonomy. Moon square Ketu Synastry is a powerful indicator of a past life emotional relationship that has reached its saturation point. The karmic lesson is usually centered on letting go of emotional dependencies and finding spiritual autonomy. Release of the past life pattern. The relationship is a mechanism for the moon person to finally break free from a past life emotional role, perhaps a dependent partner or an over-nurturer, that has become redundant. Ketu acts as the catalyst for this detachment, forcing the moon person to realize that their emotional security cannot be found in this specific connection. The lesson of non-attachment for the moon. The ultimate spiritual task for the moon person is to learn to self-soothe and cultivate emotional independence. They must accept that the Ketu person is not meant to complete their emotional circuit. By struggling against the detachment, they only prolong the pain. By accepting it, they complete the karmic assignment. The lesson of embodiment for Ketu. While Ketu's influence is generally one of detachment, the square aspect forces a necessary confrontation with the material reality of the present. The Ketu person is challenged to temporarily re-engage with their emotional side, to recognize that while they may be spiritually over the lesson, the other person is still learning. This requires an effort to express compassion and acknowledge the moon person's feelings, even if they don't share the intensity. The path to spiritual evolution. The healing of moon square Ketu lies not in forcing a connection, but in honoring the need for release and individual emotional space. Acknowledge the historical context. Both individuals should view the relationship less as a future-building exercise and more as a past life closure event. Recognizing the fated nature can reduce the need for blame or forcing the relationship to meet conventional expectations. The moon person's proactive nurturing. The moon person must redirect their nurturing energy inward. Instead of seeking validation or comfort from the Ketu person, they must actively engage in self-care, building an internal sense of security that is not reliant on the partner's emotional state. The Ketu person's conscious empathy. The Ketu person must consciously override their impulse to detach. They must cultivate present moment awareness and attempt to offer simple, compassionate acknowledgement of the moon person's feelings, even if they feel incapable of satisfying them fully. When both parties successfully navigate this aspect, the relationship often achieves one of two high karmic outcomes. Either a peaceful, non-attached separation where the past life emotional cord is finally cut, allowing both to move toward their individual north nodes, Rahu, or a rare, evolved bond founded on mutual respect for emotional autonomy, where care is given freely without the expectation of emotional debt. Subscribe to KarmicSynastry channel and be just one click away from checking fast any karmic aspect in the present, future, or even past.